Guys! Okay, so I know I said I would share my pregnancy story with you and how I found out. So we are going to get to talking here. It's a very beautiful and heartwarming story. Psych! This was a huge surprise. We were not expecting this at all. It was a very crazy week, to say the least. It was probably the craziest week of my entire life. It was a roller coaster, and the more I tell women about my story, the more I hear, oh my god, that same thing happened to me. So I feel like it's really important to talk about it and just to let everybody know what happened and how I found out. So if you guys are interested in my pregnant story, keep watching. Okay, so let's back it up all the way till quarantine started. So that was right around my 31st birthday. We had a huge makeup launch with Makeup by Yaya. We were hustling. We didn't know what the future held, really, like everybody in the world with this pandemic. So it was just kind of like a weird time, right? And then fast forward a couple months, then it's like, okay, well, now I kind of need to lose this quarantine weight that I have going on here. So I start working out hardcore. I'm like, summer bod 2020, let's go. I was just trying to look good in a bathing suit. I was working out every day. As you guys know, a lot of my followers would see me on my Peloton every single day, like working out hardcore. And I just found myself not being able to lose weight for some reason. And then I would, talk to my friends about it, and they're like, oh girl, that's just you hitting your 30s. Like now it's really downhill from here. Your metabolism isn't the same. And so I kind of chucked it up to be just that. But I was determined. I was juicing. I was fasting. I was working out. And for some reason, I could not drop the weight. But then I would drop weight here and there. Like I would drop like 2-3 pounds here, but then I would gain it back super quick. Then I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's my birth control. I've been on the patch for so long. Maybe I just need to go into my gyno and just tell him to put me on the pill and try something new because I had done the patch for so long. Maybe it wasn't agreeing with my body. So I go in, tell them I want to change my birth control. They instantly put me on the pill. So I'm on the pill for like 2-3 months, and then I started realizing like I pee a lot, and I was peeing even more. Like I need to pee right now actually, but I'm gonna hold it. But I was peeing probably like 3, 4, like 5 times a night, and I pee a lot in general, but at this point, Matt was like, okay, something is wrong with you. Like, you need to go to the doctor and go get checked because this is not normal. So my gynecologist recommended me to go to a bladder specialist, a urologist, for my bladder issues. And so I get an appointment, I go in, and they test my urine. And they're like, oh, you're in ketosis. Did you know that? Are you on keto right now? And I'm like, no, but that's funny because I am trying to lose weight. So, hey, holla, I'll take that. So I talked to them about my bladder issues and how I was going so freaking much. You would have thought that they would have tested my urine to just make sure, like, hey, let's rule out rule number 1, why women pee a lot. Are you pregnant? No, they didn't do that. So they sent me home with antibiotics. I was on antibiotics for a month. Then I had a follow-up with that urologist. And of course, that medication didn't work. So they put me on another antibiotic. And of course, that didn't work either. So at this point, I'm like, okay, let me just get off birth control completely. Because remember, I was on the pill at this point. Let me just get off birth control. Maybe it's like I need to just flush out my system here. Let me just restart. Let me get my period and kind of flush everything out. And then, let's see what happens. Like maybe I could lose weight that way. And then I started feeling like super bloated and a lot of pressure in my stomach. And I literally just thought I needed to lay off the cheese. Like, okay, girl, your body is not agreeing with you. Stop con el queso, stop con el pan. Like, stop eating gluten. It's not agreeing with you. But that's what I thought, right? And then I went to a baby shower with Matt's mom and sister for their cousin. And I was asking their cousin how she found out she was pregnant. And she goes, oh yeah, I missed my period, took a pregnancy test, boom, found out I was pregnant. And I was like, oh well, shit. I stopped taking the pill last week and I missed my period. I should probably take a pregnancy test just in case to find out if I'm pregnant. So the very next day, I tell Matt, like, yo, we're taking a pregnancy test today. And we had one laying around. And so he's like, all right, cool. I'm going to my mom's house. See you in a little bit. I'm like, all right, cool. See ya. And I peed on the stick, and I swear to God, like instantly it went boof, like positive. And I like my heart just sank. But, you know, on the box it says wait 3 minutes, wait 3 minutes, put it to the side. So I started talking to myself in the mirror. I'm like, bitch, it's fine. You've had some scares in the past. It's always been negative. You're fine. Breathe. And then Matt was taking hella freaking long. I'm like, where is this fool? Like, he needs to be here because I'm not going to look at this pregnancy test by myself. So I call him. I'm like, yo, you really need to come up here because I can't do this. So he comes back and he looks at the pregnancy test and he's like, I think it says positive. And then I flipped out. I was like, what? This isn't how I planned it. This isn't how I wanted it to go. Like, this wasn't part of my plans. And then I was like, no, we're going to CVS right now. We're going to go get like 5 pregnancy tests. And that's what we did. We literally got 5 pregnancy tests. And we came back. And can I just give you guys pointers? Like, spend the extra $20 to get the pregnancy test that just says yes or no, or like pregnant or not pregnant. Because we were over here trying to read the cross with the crucecita, with the linea, with the this and the that. And we were just like, no, maybe we're reading it. Just get the test, spend the extra dub and get the pregnancy test that says either yes or no. Because we finally got down to that test and it was the longest 3 minutes of our life. And he finally looked and it said yes, pregnant. That's when I lost it. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, this isn't what I envisioned my life how to go. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready to be pregnant. So whatever, that next morning, and then in my delusional mind, I was still kind of like, well, maybe it's the bladder antibiotics that's like making it go off and say it's a yes when it's really like I'm not pregnant. I was so naive and in my delusional mind and still holding on to like, oh, maybe you're not. So Monday morning rolls around, a correr al hospital. I ran to my doctor. They gave me a blood test. Tuesday morning, they called me back. They're like, yep, you're definitely pregnant. But by the looks of it and we're guessing that you're probably around 4 to 8 weeks pregnant. I'm like, cool. We detected it early, all good. And then they're like, but come in tomorrow and we're gonna do an ultrasound on you so we can really tell how far along you are. I'm like, okay, cool. So we go in the next day. We're thinking we're like super early pregnancy, right? So the doctor lays me down on the table and she takes a long contraption, you know, the stick that you see in the movies or whatever. I'm in my mask. I'm on the table, on the chair. She jams the freaking stick up my tee, and then she's like, oh my God, I think I need to use a different contraption because I think you're further along than we think you are. And I'm like, what? And so she puts the jelly on my belly and does the ultrasound thingy, and literally you could see the baby like perfectly. And it's moving around in there, and she goes, yeah, if I'm doing my calculations correctly, you're at least 5 months pregnant. what? That's when I flipped out. I was literally like this. I had the mask on. I was hyperventilating. Matt like was crying. I was crying. The doctor was like crying, and it was literally the scariest moment of my life. And I completely I couldn't even think of anything. I was like, okay, what, am I gonna go into labor now? Am I gonna be on that TV show? Didn't know I was pregnant and this baby's about to pop out right now. I couldn't even fathom how. We just kept asking, like, how did this happen? How did this happen? I was on birth control. I came in to change my birth control. Didn't you think the doctor would test my urine? Like, hey, let's just make sure you're not pregnant before we put you on another pregnancy pill. And then not only that, I had all these symptoms like, hey, frequent urination, but no, you just tell me to go to a bladder specialist instead of like, let's make sure you're not pregnant. And then that fool didn't test me either. So yeah, it was just, we couldn't even imagine how it just kind of fell through the cracks. So I didn't tell a single soul, but Matt was super supportive the entire time. And finally he goes, you need to tell your sister. And I go, no, she has the biggest mouth in the world. She's totally gonna tell my mom. I can't tell her. She goes, no, that's your sister. She is the biggest person in your life, and you work with her. She's your business partner. Like, regardless, you're gonna have to tell her, because she has to know and have your back. And he goes, you have to have more faith in her, and I think you should tell her. So that day, I went to Marshall's with my sister, actually. And literally, we were walking down the towel aisle, and she was like, damn, Shan, you got a big old belly. Are you pregnant or something? And thank God we were wearing the masks, because I literally was like, no. Like, no. And that's when I knew, like, okay, I need to tell her. I'm not going to tell her in Marshall's, my favorite place in the whole wide world, but I needed to tell her that day. So I texted Matt, like, okay, she smells something's up. So he rushed home. I'm like, I'm coming home. And we sat her down, and I go, we have something to tell you. And she was like, what, you're pregnant? And I was like, and she's like, oh my God, congratulations. But I was like, oh, wait for it. And she's like, no, congratulations. No, what? And so I told her, I was like, but I'm 5 months pregnant. And she was like, oh my God, like, how did you not know? And yeah, I mean, it was easy to not know because I didn't have any symptoms. I didn't have morning sickness. I wasn't showing. I had no idea. I was on birth control. So how the heck was I gonna know, you know? And plus I always skip my periods. I know a lot of women out there, they skip their periods because it's painful. I have really bad cramps. So it wasn't uncommon for me to skip periods for 3-4 months and then get it. So I had no idea. And they're like, okay, but come in the next day and we're really gonna make sure how far along, and we're gonna do like a really in-depth ultrasound. So then we go in the next day, and that was my 20-week ultrasound. This is like the ultrasound that most women wait for their entire pregnancy, because that's when they really get to see all the anatomy and they can see every little thing in the baby and make sure everything's healthy. I had no idea that it was already like, we're here with the most important ultrasound, right? So we go in and they start with the ultrasound, and immediately, like, you can see the baby perfectly. Like, you can see the little heartbeat, you can see the brain, you can see the fingers and the toes and the spine. And I was crying the whole time. I like wanted to look, but I couldn't, but I was like so intrigued. But I was so scared to get attached, and I just couldn't handle my emotions. There was so much going on. And then at that point, they told me that the baby was breached. So I needed to twerk The lady literally made me get on all fours and twerk to turn the baby around because they wouldn't let me leave the hospital if they didn't take certain pictures to clear me. So then I was doing that, and that was really really funny. And then, you know, all I kept asking was, is the baby healthy? Is the baby healthy? Because I didn't know for 5 months. Like, I wasn't a saint. I drank a little bit. I was living my normal life. I was wakeboarding. I was doing extreme sports, and you know, I was telling all the doctors, and they literally said, you know, you could tell us everything that you did, but quite frankly, we don't care because that baby in there looks perfectly healthy. So when I heard that, that kind of, you know, gave me a sense of relief and a sense of, okay, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. And so after that, they finally told me, okay, yeah, you are indeed 5 months pregnant. And they made me go talk to the last doctor. And, you know, I just kind of freaked out on her, and I was like, look, this isn't how I planned my life. This isn't how I wanted it to go. I wanted to get engaged. I wanted to enjoy my engagement. I wanted to plan the wedding of my dreams. I wanted to buy a house, and I wanted to have a baby. And she goes, and at this point, I thought she was like the rudest lady in the world, but looking back, I really appreciate her honesty, and I will commend her and give her a big fat hug if I ever see her again. But she literally broke it down to me. She goes, honey, you are 31 years old. She goes, do you live with this man? Yes. Do you love this man? Yes. Are you gonna marry this man? Yes. Okay, when were you planning on having kids? I go, in about 2-3 years. She goes, okay, 2 years now, what's the difference? Plans change. Honey, you're 31. It's not like you're 21. You're having this baby. It's game time. And that's when it hit me like, oh my God, we're having a baby. So I got home at 5:30 and we had trivia. We had Shades by Shan trivia that night, and it was our very first trivia ever. We had marketed it. We had told everyone it was happening. Everyone was super excited about it, and I literally had like the biggest bags under my eyes. I like could barely even talk. I cried the whole way home, and I literally kind of snapped into radio mode, and my sister was like, girl, it's showtime. And I found these glasses, which are the glasses I still wear every time we do trivia. They're like these big, huge green glasses that I think probably saved me, because that was the only way that you guys couldn't tell that I had been crying the whole week. And I was hysterical that day. And I just flipped it on for you guys, and I literally told Erica I can only do 30 minutes. Like I don't think I can even do it. I don't even think I said I don't think I can do it. I just said I will do 30 minutes, and we ended up doing the whole hour, and it was so much fun. But literally as soon as the camera shut off, I was like and my sister just goes, I don't know how you did that. Like, I don't know. I have so much respect for you right now. Holy shit. And I guess it was my old radio days that it was like, well, switch it on, switch it off, because I had to put on a show. But deep down I was struggling, and I was dealing with a lot. So yeah, after that, then I sat down with my sister and Matt, and we kind of just like talked about everything. And it was the first time that I said, yeah, I'm gonna be a mom. And we all just like hugged, and we were all there for each other, and it was a really like surreal moment. And then it was time to tell our parents, and I was like, oh my God, how are we gonna tell our parents? They're gonna think I'm so dumb. And well, you guys have seen the videos. You saw my mom pop off, but now she's like super ecstatic. But yeah, that is how I found out I was 5 months pregnant. So I hope that this video helps whoever is watching out there. Be careful if you're skipping your periods, because I was on birth control and did that and I still got pregnant. And I know so many women that find out later, and sometimes we feel gypped, right? Like we didn't have all those months to prepare and to nest and to research and to do just every little thing. And now I feel like I'm playing catch up, right? Like, oh my God, I have to do this, and I don't feel like I know anything. But just know that you're not alone. I'm here with you. I'm going through it, and it happens to people. And it doesn't mean we're like descuidadas. It doesn't mean that, you know, we're unhealthy or that anything. Whatever you're going through with your pregnancy is okay, because everybody's pregnancy is different. And you know, at first I was panicking. I was in a state of shock. I was nervous. But after speaking to that doctor and her putting it into perspective, talking to my sister, talking to my best friend, talking to Matt, and just knowing how supported I was, that's when I realized, like, I am ready for this. I am excited. I'm gonna be a mommy. It finally clicked into my head that I have a living being in here and it's mine. And this is the perfect timing in my life. Hi, Loli. Imagine having a puppy and a baby all in 1 year. So I do feel so blessed and happy that I'm going to be a mom. So hope this video helped whoever out there watching. If you guys ever need to reach out and talk about it, definitely, I'm an open book and you guys can ask me anything. And I really appreciate you guys for standing by me and supporting me throughout all these years. I mean, it's been a crazy ride, to say the least, and now the next generation of berries is coming. And I guess I should tell you guys my due date. On top of that, cherry on top, my due date is January 1st, 2021. So let's see when baby berry or baby tucket comes. And I guess you guys know that I'm having a boy as well. And oh, so many of you have been asking me about my baby registry. That ish was hella hard to do. So my sister and I just finished it. I will share it with you guys here because I know so many of you are just so supportive and we feel like we're family as well. So I feel comfortable sharing it with you guys. And I just want to say how much I love you and appreciate everybody watching this and how much you mean to me. And it feels so great to know that this baby is going to be so loved before it even arrives. So thank you guys for watching. Les quiero mucho. Bye.